Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. I've been following the incoming news about the progression of the counting of the votes in the United States, obviously, like everybody else did, and we are pretty certain right now that we are in scenario 3. That is, not a clear Trump win, not a clear Biden landslide like all the pollsters predicted. No. It is a very close race. In some states, it's just a couple of thousands of votes. That's the difference right now. And they practically stopped counting in some of the states. The curves, the numbers, the figures aren't moving anymore. I guess they are saying we are waiting for all these mail-in ballots and then we count them. We have to wait now. And they apparently don't count the ones that they already have. They want to count them like in 3 days. So we do not know what the outcome will be. These states are at 80 or 95% counting complete, but they're still waiting with the rest. I have no idea why they're waiting or what they want to adjust for. I think it's all politics, it's all perception. They want to modify public opinion, let's say, or public perception, and they need more time for that. As the counting of the votes progressed, it looked very good for Donald Trump, but then some mystery jumps happened. So be that as it may, we don't have more information at the moment. What is important now is to realize that this will probably be decided by the courts. Both sides will try to use legal means in order to secure a win for their candidate, for their party. This is of course a very bad situation, a crisis, and I'm pretty sure that both sides will try to declare themselves the victor. Now I just gotta say also, German mainstream media, they have been spreading this lie, I think, or this misconception that Donald Trump declared himself the winner and he said all voting or all counting must stop right now because it's just looking good for him at the moment. No, he said that we are on a good path or we did incredibly well, which is true. I mean, they clearly outperformed the expectations of the pollsters by a lot. So yeah, of course this is a good result. And with the stopping of the counting, that was about Pennsylvania, a state where Donald Trump is clearly in the lead, but they said that they will accept mail-in ballots, mailed-in votes, even though they don't have a valid or even intelligible postmark. So that means they could have been sent at any time and they could come from anywhere, we don't know. It's just an envelope and they will be counted. That is crazy. And I totally understand that Donald Trump is criticizing that because it just opens the door for so much potential fraud and manipulation. But it is just really impressive how wrong the polls were again. In 2016 already, everybody said that it will be a Clinton landslide. Now they said it will be a Biden landslide. They systematically underestimated the Republicans and Donald Trump in pretty much all states. I read that in Arizona, they actually overestimated them. Okay. But you can clearly see that they systematically overestimated the performance of Joe Biden over that of Donald Trump. And I really don't know who is still believing the mainstream media when they say these things, when they make these predictions, or when they just report on these without making sure to communicate that this is just an estimation and that it could be completely off, of course. No, they say it's sure, it's true, this will happen. And that is just what they're doing these days, I guess. They hammer that for a month and even for a year or something into people's minds so that they install there already the notion that the Democrats will surely win. So I think this is a psychological trick, or it is one aspect or one little maneuver in the whole scheme that they had prepared here. They were making sure that they don't leave anything to chance. They said that they must do everything in their power, whatever it takes, so that 2016 doesn't repeat itself. We heard it from social media, from big tech. We heard it from the mainstream media, the establishment, from the Democrat Party, from major corporations. Everybody said the same thing, that they will do whatever it takes in order to prevent another term for Donald Trump. And here we go. So I think it is really unlikely that Biden and the Democrats will admit defeat, because they didn't admit defeat in 2016. And in fact, they didn't admit it for 4 years. In fact, they haven't even admitted it now that they lost in 2016. It was a very clear election. It was a very, very clear victory, but they're still acting as if they had actually won somehow. Even in Germany, that narrative is still pushed that technically, the popular vote doesn't exist. It is called the United States of America. It is a union of states. And according to the rules of the election, Trump clearly won. That is it. There is no such thing as a popular vote result. And they didn't only say that, no, they tried to impeach him, and they went after him with everything they had, with all these lies, with all these hoaxes, with all these stories. It was basically an open state of revolt, an open coup that was simmering and going on for 4 years. So I don't expect them to admit that they lost now. And this is, of course, very, very dicey and very, very dangerous for the American Republic and for the rule of law and the democratic process there. The country is completely polarized. These opposing sides can't even talk to each other anymore. It seems like they don't even speak the same language anymore. It sometimes seems that they're like two different animals that just don't get along with each other. They're completely at each other's throats. And I hope that this can be dealt with in the courts and not in another way. Even though election night was rather quiet, with a couple of exceptions, depending on what will happen next, it might not stay that quiet anymore. The rest of the year, and I think well into next year, it will be a very turbulent time for the United States. But I guess it is a good thing that Donald Trump is already used to that being challenged, and that the legitimacy of his rule is challenged all the time, constantly, by everyone, and the media and the Democrats and the establishment. They are all acting the same way that they were acting for 4 years already, that his rule is somehow illegitimate, that he is not really voted into power. That is nothing new. It's basically the same situation. So Donald Trump already is in defense mode. He has been in defense mode in that sense all the time already. And I could imagine that he also prepared for this. I mean, we can see clearly that obviously the Democrats have been preparing things for a long time, and it comes to fruition now. We see what they were preparing for all these months. But I'm sure that Donald Trump and his team, that they were predicting that they expected that, and they prepared countermeasures. And those we haven't seen yet, I'm pretty sure. So normally a lot of people say, let's get some popcorn, lean back, enjoy the show. But I don't really feel like that. I think this is way too serious and potentially dangerous. So I'm not actually looking forward to a great show with lots of entertainment value. No, I'm actually worried. Let me know in the comments down below how you experienced this night when you were in the US or maybe also abroad, and what you think about the whole thing. Maybe you noticed something that you want to share. And while you're at it, you can subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. Leave a like and share this video if you think that other people might be interested in that. I want to thank all my supporters and all my subscribers, and if you want to support my channel, you can do so directly via PayPal or via Patreon or Subscribestar. Links are in the description down below. Servus, Kameraden.